I know you're happy because we haven't had a video in a few days and now one is back. So this is a video about why Russia left World War I before it ended. You can find this in the barn. This was not created by me, so you don't see any stick figures, but no need for me to start a whole new one. Now, the Russian Revolution really happened in two stages. You have the February Revolution and the October Revolution. This is regarding the February Revolution, so you see just how it led to Russia leaving the war. Now, World War I had a devastating effect on Russia. These two early battles of Manchurian Lakes and Tannenberg greatly weakened the Russian army, and really led to people being upset with the Romanovs, the family that was ruling Russia for over 300 years at this point. So here's a little bit about how it affected Russia politically. Now it mentions the Duma, you'll see there on the left. The Duma were council assemblies that were actually created by Tsar Nicholas II. Duma is a verb that means to think or to consider. And think of it as like the Russian version of parliament. Now it also mentions that people did not like Alexandra, the Tsarina of Russia, because she was German. Remember, right, they're at war with each other. And if you did the family tree for your project, you saw all these connections. So here's just some facts about her. She was the granddaughter of Queen Victoria and cousins with Kaiser Wilhelm. Her godparents were the Prince and Princess of Wales, some Russian Tsareviches, Princess Beatrice of the UK, the Duchess of Cambridge, and a Prussian princess. So it shows you all these familiar connections that these countries had in World War I. But she was in love with Nicholas, who in fact they shared a common great-grandparent, and they got married despite some opposition by his parents because of her Russian connections. All right, now getting to the economic problems. The railway system was pretty poor in Russia. Russia industrialized much after its European counterparts did. And the effects of this was really felt by World War I. The railway system was an initiative by Tsar Nicholas I in 1842, but it took a long time for that to come into fruition. So that aided the economic problems. There was a lot of social discontent in Russia as a result of this. The winter of 1916 and 1917 was very unusually cold for Russia, and it led to fuel and food shortages. And the war efforts disrupted agriculture as well. Troops needed food, and they weren't even getting enough. The poor railway system increased this famine. Food could not get to where it had to go. Workers were literally abandoning cities to find food. Shops literally closed down because they didn't have bread or sugar or meat and things like that to sell. Women waited in lines for up to 40 hours a week just trying to get food. So you see all these orders here. So by February, we have some severe reactions from the people. And the army actually eventually stops listening to the Tsar and joins the workers on strike and protesting. A telegram from the chairman of the Duma, Radzienko, to Tsar Nicholas said, "The situation is serious. The capital is in a state of anarchy." This mentions here Grand Duke Michael. If you're into juicy history, Google Grand Duke Michael. Very interesting. But actually, he didn't even want the throne before all this chaos even began, before the revolution or before World War I. He was actually Tsar Nicholas's younger brother and was second in line to the throne. So this war was very spontaneous, almost like the way the Ukrainian protests began and then became something greater. Many political groups were competing for power, and it led to a power vacuum and to this provisional government here. And until Lenin came to Russia, in April, this is sort of the way things were. And then you have another part of the revolution in October, and then you have the full, Russian Civil War and the Russian Revolution. Before we leave here, I want to show you where Petrograd is. It is now known as St. Petersburg, so not to be confused by that. So let's show you. Okay, so here you can see how St. Petersburg was in Western Russia and pretty close to the rest of Europe and not real far from Moscow either. Urban area. For the left side, you're going to make a Venn diagram where you're going to compare this part of the Russian Revolution with the French Revolution. So may have to go back to our old notes. You want 5 points in each part of the Venn diagram. There's the password, and I'll see you next class.